Yeah, it should be coming to you now. Just let me know when you get that, Jody.
Oh, here we go. Well, those are words that are definitely normally coming out of my mouth. A multi-talented powerhouse.
Yeah, if you want to change something slightly, feel free,
I wish somebody would call me a multi-talented powerhouse.
Well, this is Smiles Got
Dave, will
Talent.
you do
You
that?
probably have more talent than you realize. So we have everyone except for him, right? Is that Mark? You're muted.
There we go. Yes, everyone except for Kim. I do see a Kimberly out there, and Kim, if that's you, if you can edit your attendee name to be Kim Haley, then I'll know for sure that's you before promoting you to a panelist. Thank you.
So potentially people are live and watching right now, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Hi, everybody. It is behind the scenes. Hey, well, let me just go ahead then and brief our people. Then we can all turn our cameras off and be ready for to go at 12:30. Does that sound good? Okay, so Shannon, Kamika, and David, along with Kim Haley, you are basically my onstage helpers. So this is going to be sort of a Keynote meets magic experience. And so I will make it simple. I'm just going to ask you to turn on your camera and your mic at certain times, and I'll also instruct you when to turn it off. Okay, so you're just here to create the energy that typically comes if you're watching a show. So if you think it's funny, you can laugh. If you want to give some feedback or say something, interject, that's totally fine, okay? This is a way that I call this on-stage seating, and this just helps us create an environment for the attendees, which some of them are already here, to just give that energy without having the distraction of 1,000 people, right? So limited number of screens, limited audio, and again, all be clear when to unmute, when to turn your camera on, and also clear when to turn everything off. So give me 2 thumbs up, people, if you got that. Okay, perfect. Then I think we're good. Mark, do you need us to cover anything else before we get going?
No, the only other thing I know you mentioned being spotlighted. Do you want that to happen after? Are you going to dismiss the 4 panelists at any time? Because I know if they speak, they won't be spotlighted if I spotlight you manually.
Well, I don't know how it works exactly for spotlighting. All I know is that when I'm on, we don't want their avatars on there. We want them completely gone, right? Otherwise, I'll be small and there'll be a bunch of blank screens. And so, Jody, you'll want to tell everybody when we start to go to gallery view. Isn't that right, Mark?
Gallery view.
Gallery view. Yeah. So you might make a note of that, Jody.
Yep.
Okay. Then I will disappear, and so will our helpers, and we'll see you about 12:30 is when we'll get going, right, Jody?
Yeah, please get on a few minutes before 12:30. We're all using this link for the regular thing, right?
When would you like us on? What about 12:20, 12:25?
Yeah.
Okay. So everybody show up about 5-10 minutes early, okay? All right. Kamika's got the thumbs up, so perfect. All right. Thank you, Shannon.
Okay.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you in a little bit.
Jody, just let me know when you want me to stop the share, and then I'll let you introduce Devin.
Okay, yeah, usually about 1 or 2 minutes into it.
That's good.
Do you see visibility in the number of logins, Mark?
I see the attendee count right now, 262.
Okay. All right, shall we get on with it?
Sounds good. We stop the share.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Smile Brands Got Talent Summit 2023. Speaking of talent, I hope you've had a chance by now to see Steve's first huddle. If not, don't worry, it's virtual, so you can still check it out before the end of the day, so you'll be ready for huddle number 2 tomorrow. I'm told to advise you to set your screens to gallery view. That'll be the best way to watch this presentation. And I guess I don't really need to tell you to use your chat function throughout the session, since you've already been chatting it up as we've gotten going here this morning. So now it's my pleasure to introduce someone with some real talent, today's speaker, Devin Henderson. Devin is a multi-talented powerhouse, an experienced presenter and seasoned performer who's logged thousands of performances as an award-winning comedian, magician, and keynote speaker. His presentations have been called unreal, unexpected, and unforgettable. So prepare to have your minds blown. You will be inspired to ignite your untapped potential, defy your limits, be resilient to any challenges that come your way, and never stop believing that something greater is always possible. Get ready for an inspiration meets transformation, and please join me in welcoming Devin Henderson.
Hey, thank you, Jody. Thank you so much. Let's give her some love in the chat. That was a wonderful introduction. Really appreciate that. Oh my goodness, Smile Brands, it is so great to be here with you. My name is Devin Henderson, and I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a magician, and I just want to say it really is an honor to be with you. I love this whole Smiles Got Talent idea, right? Because I know that you all do have talent. You have a talent for and a passion for giving back and for creating smiles for everyone, and I think that is awesome. And I learned that there's actually a location here close to me in Kansas City. I'm in Shawnee, so the next people. Hello, I hope to stop in sometime and say hi in person. So, well, everybody on the call, get ready, okay? Because we are going to experience some serious fun. We're going to experience inspiration and also magic. That's right, magic, baby. Get ready for it. And I want to let you know before we start that a few of your people from around the country have been pre-selected to help out with something that I call on-stage seating. So these people, there's about 4 of them, and they will be on screen and unmuted from time to time. And we're going to do some interaction with them and with the magic. And they're really here to help us create the sort of energy you would typically get with a magic and comedy experience. In fact, I'm not going to formally introduce them right now, but all the people, if you could just flip your cameras on, unmute, and just say hello so we know that you're there. We've got Shannon, we've got Kamika, we've got David, and we possibly have Kim joining us as well. So we'll see. So awesome on-stage people. On-stage people, leave your mics on and say hello.
Hello.
Perfect. Okay, leave those mics on, but go ahead and turn your cameras off. And we'll come back to you all in a minute. And just a reminder to everyone to go to gallery mode. That's going to be the best mode for this presentation. So, okay, awesome. Now that you know about them, let's do this. All right, we're going to start with the question. So panelists, this question is for you. Also, I love how everybody is so involved in the chat. I had fun saying hi to people. So feel free to answer in the chat. Here's the question. Who, by round of applause, who hates clapping? That was not the question. Okay, we're just making sure you're there. All right, here's the actual question. The question is, have you ever heard the term soccer juggling? If yes, panelists, just say yes, or in the chat, you can say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Anybody no? Okay, Hector says no. Steve says a lot of no. We got mixes. Tell you what, let's start with a little soccer juggling demonstration. Here it is, Smile Brands, a little soccer juggling demonstration. Yeah, you've seen this before, right? Okay, here it is. Ready? Oh, there it is. The next stall. All right. Okay, now, how did I learn to do that, right? Well, what you need to know, first of all, is that the greatest soccer teams are made up of players who practice these kind of skills behind the scenes. Because as you know, in your offices, in your work, the better each person is as an individual, the better the whole team is going to be. So I started doing this when I was 7 years old. And I wanted to be really good at soccer, so my mom put me in soccer camp. And at this camp, the coach said, okay, we're going to learn to juggle. And the whole basic idea is to see how many bounces you can get before you drop the ball. And that number is your record. Then you just keep working to break your record. So I got into it that day. It's like all I worked on. And at one point, I actually got 4 bounces before I dropped the ball. So I went home, kept at it. A month later, I was up to 15 kicks. A year into it, I was up to 50 kicks. 3 years into it, I was at 250 kicks. All right, now at that point, most people might be like, I've accomplished this, I'm done, let's go find something new. But I didn't, right? Because I couldn't help but ask, what else is possible? So what I did then was I set a seemingly impossible goal to get 1,000 kicks. Panelists, let me hear you say, ooh.
Ooh.
1,000. So I went to my dad, okay, because growing up, my dad was my champion. He was my cheerleader, and this man knew something about persistence. My dad was a Marine. Can I get a hoorah?
Hoorah.
Yeah. Thank you for the ooh, Laura, in the chat. Now, you all probably know this. Say it with me, panelists. Once a Marine.
Once a Marine.
Always an
Always
untied
a
father.
Marine.
That's right. Okay. That joke always cracked my dad up. I said, Dad, do you think I can get 1,000 kicks? He said, son, I think you can do anything you put your mind to, except that. He's like, I don't think it's humanly possible. Now, everybody on this call, listen very carefully. These moments happen in life. And maybe it's happened to you where someone who loves you and believes in you says, I want the best for you. I just don't think that's possible for you. And you might even be telling yourself that at times. And those are key moments in our life where we can either decide to quit or to keep going. And I decided I'm going to keep going. So I kept at it. And over the years, I just kept saying, what else is possible? What else is possible? How high can I go? And a few years ago, when I was 15 years old, a few years ago, I got, do you want to know how many I got when I was 15? It was pretty significant.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was 1,259. See, it is possible. Hoorah. Yeah, that's right. You know what? I didn't quit there. I kept going. And over the years, I just kept slowly breaking my high record, saying, what else is possible? How high can you go? And literally just a few years ago, I hit my all-time high. Somebody give me a guess. Go to the chat. Let me know how many you think it is. Panelists, if you want to say it too, you can name a number. What do you think? Somebody said 55, 55. Thanks. Thanks a lot for that, Brittany. That was good. We got some, what'd you say?
2,000.
2,000. We're getting some 2,000s in the chat. They're hovering around 3,000 to 7,000. I'll just tell you, thanks for your guesses, everybody. It was 11,241. Now, just to be clear, that's 11,241 consecutive kicks without ever dropping the ball over a 2-hour period. Thanks for the wows and the wowzers. Thank you. Thank you very much, Marcel. I appreciate that. All right. So at that point, I said, that's enough. I don't need to count any higher than that. I don't need to go more than 2 hours. But still, like you, I'm addicted to greatness. I couldn't help but ask, well, even now, what else is possible? So what happened then? Well, my soccer journey rose to greater heights than I ever could have conceived of when I first started the journey. And I'm going to get to that in a little bit. But this story is more than just a story about soccer. It's a story about how something greater is always possible. And even if you can't always see it, and no matter what's going on around you, something greater is always possible for you and for everybody that you collaborate with. Can you imagine how you could transform the workplace if you believe that every single day? All right, Smile Brands, we're off to a good start. We're having a great time. If you just joined us, we're talking about how something greater is always possible. And I've had so much fun in the chat already. I can tell you're an incredible group with an incredible heart for the people you serve. So let me ask you this, like, are you thinking like, well, how does this guy know, right? The magician, comedian, how does he know that something greater is always possible for us? Well, here's why. My whole life, in every area of my life, right, I've believed this, that something greater is always possible because I have strived to live with something I call the possibility mindset. The possibility mindset is how you can respond to fear, to challenge, to uncertainty, by asking this very important question, what else is possible? The possibility mindset asks the question, what else is possible, and never stops asking no matter what's happening in your world or in the world. In fact, I'd like all of our panelists right now just to repeat this phrase after me, what else is possible?
What else is possible?
I love it. And every members, go to the chat and say, what else is possible? Okay. See, team, the thing is, when you, if you feel like I'm never going to bounce back from this disappointment, panelists, what question are you going to ask?
What else is possible?
It's possible.
Exactly. Thank you. When you feel like I'm never going to be able to make this change or adapt to these new systems, what question are you going to ask?
What else is possible?
I love it. Thank you, Kamika. Thank you, people in the chat getting so. How about one more? What if you feel like we are never going to achieve the next level of greatness? What question are you going to ask?
What else is possible?
Love it. See, you're going to ask what else is possible. Never stop asking. Okay. Now I've applied this concept to every area of my life, and it's allowed me to accomplish and just experience some very exciting things, from soccer kicks to magic tricks, and even performing on the world's biggest stage, America's Got Talent. And this concept applies to the seemingly impossible things that all of you want to achieve, both as individuals and as a team. And don't worry, later I'll get to the America's Got Talent story, okay? But for right now, I'm going to help all of you discover greater possibilities, and we're going to get started by doing that in a couple of ways. I'm going to tell you how I have use the possibility mindset to rise through unexpected challenges and accomplish extraordinary things in my life. And also, we're going to be using the art of magic, okay, because magic defies the impossible. So let me hear you again, team. If you're ready to discover greater possibilities, let me hear you say, what else is possible?
What else is possible?
I love it. Yes. And thank you, people in the chat. That is so great. Okay, let's do this. Let's go ahead and Kamika, could you just turn your camera on for me? We're going to pop up side by side here real quick. We're going to formally introduce our first panelist. Hi, Kamika. How are you?
Hello. How are you? I'm great.
Good. It's so great to have you. So, the theme, we always talk about Smiles Got Talent, right, Kamika?
Yes.
And what do the people who know you best, what do they say your greatest talent is?
Well, I think they will say that I'm always positive, always willing to help wherever I can, and love to celebrate my employees when they do something fantastic.
I love that. I can see why you got chosen today as a panelist. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love that positivity really sticks out to me. I can see that comes through the camera. That's amazing.
Thank
So
you.
so that is a talent, right? To
Yes.
be positive, especially when things are hard, right?
Yes.
And to keep the spirits of the team up. So that's incredible.
Really.
We'll tell you what, you and I are gonna do a little fun thing together about discovering greater possibilities. People tell me that one of my greatest talents is reading people's minds.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna read your mind right now. Okay, are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
Okay, first of all, clear your mind. That was fast, Kamika. Very good. Very good. And I want you to think of a number from 1 to 100. Don't say it yet. But actually, I'm going to do some math with the number. So make it a little, let's go above 30. Somewhere between 30 and 100. Think of a number and just say yes when you're thinking of it.
Yes.
Okay, check this out. We're going to see if I can correctly predict your answer right now. Okay, I just read it. I just felt it. I'm going to go ahead and just jot this down. Okay, Kamika, this is going to blow your mind. Yes or no, is the number 55?
No.
No, her answer correctly predicted no. Holy cow, that's amazing.
Oh my God.
You don't look impressed, Kamika. All right.
I am. I'm very impressed.
Well, I correctly predicted the answer. Okay, tell you what, here's actually what we're going to do. We're going to do something special with the number that you thought of. Go ahead and actually tell me the number.
50.
Oh, I was close.
Oh, wow.
You're close.
Okay, check this out. And panelists, you can help me out also in the chat. You can help me out. Here we go. Okay, everybody help me out. What is 11, 14, 5, and 20?
You mean what's it add to?
Yeah, what's it add to? Thank you, Jody.
50.
50. And I'm glad you specified that because when I tell my kids, when I ask them what's 11, 14, 5, and 20, they say CSP and ABC, Fox, and the Disney Channel. So it's a good thing you specified that. Let's see. I'm going to go again here. Let's see here. Let's do this. All right. How about this time? What do we have there, everybody? 50 again?
Yes.
Well, yes. Okay, perfect. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you for the 50. You can see what I'm going for now. I'm going for one solution all the way across. So let's see here. Let's do working fast here in my brain. We got 50 there. Check it on your phones. If you're any question, we're going to do one more row and 50 all the way across. Let me know in the chat. Just say yes if everything looks good, or panelists, let me know.
Yes.
Yes.
Pretty amazing, right? But let me ask you to say this, say what else is possible?
What else is possible?
Yeah, what if there's greatness where maybe we didn't see it before? What if we look up and down every single one of these columns? Do we also get 50 going up and down? Let's just check it out, Kamika. 11 plus 4 is 15, plus 13 is 28, plus 22 is, guess what? 50.
50.
Right here, we've got these two equal 15, plus 14, 29, plus 21, 50. Everybody, yes, amazed, mind blown, we're freaking out. See, this isn't magic. This is a mathematical proof and demonstration that something greater is always possible, but I'm not done. I want to hear everybody say what else is possible.
What else is possible?
Yeah, there's still more greatness. Look at these four numbers in the middle. They add up to 50. The four in this corner add up to 50. Check your phones. Count on your fingers if you're not sure. All of the quadrants equal 50. But let me hear you one more time. Say, what else is possible?
What
else
else
is
is possible?
Let's look at this diagonal, and then the four numbers in the corner, because something greater is always what?
Possible.
Possible. That's right. Let's give it up for Kamika and for our panelists. Thank you so much. All right. Woo! My goodness. Boy, that took some real brain power. Okay. You see, the great thing about now Kamika knows her talent. She knows what I call her magic. Sometimes some of us feel, if you ever feel like you're lacking talent, I want you to remember this demonstration of the numbers. You are as complex and as amazing as that, more amazing. And if sometimes you just look for it, maybe you'll see greatness where you didn't see it before. All right, so vision, right? If we have a vision for what we want to achieve, one way to see potential over limitation is by having a vision for what we want to achieve in our life and how great of an impact we want to have on people around us, and especially the people that we serve, that we're creating smiles for. So what I'd like to do is like everyone on the call right now to just think of a seemingly impossible goal. Okay, because we're not just talking about any vision. We're talking about a goal that excites you, that stretches you, that you're not even sure if you could pull it off. That's what I mean by seemingly impossible goal. So everybody get that in your mind. Trust your gut, go with it. I'm only going to have one person reveal that here in just a minute. And by the way, is Kim? If Kim's on the call, we'll do her. If not, we'll use Shannon. So Kim, get ready. If not, Shannon, you get ready. So we're going to have this person name it, but I want everyone to be thinking of a goal. All right. And while you're processing that, let me tell you, why a stretch goal? Why is that so important? Well, studies show that people and groups who visualize stretch goals pioneer major strides in innovation, productivity, and impact. And as an example for that, at one point in time, the company 3M made it a requirement that all of their teams create some sort of stretch goal together. And do you know what happened as a result? What invention came to us? Maybe you're thinking Post-it notes. Maybe you're thinking the hooks in the wall. It was Scotch tape, something as basic as Scotch tape that has completely transformed our world. Because incredible outcomes start with incredible visions. So while all of you are processing your seemingly impossible goals, let me tell you about another one of mine, right? So many years ago, one thing that felt impossible to me was getting married. I know, but in all seriousness, it was like, would I find the right person? Could I be confident in making that big of a decision? Well, I'm happy to say that my wife, Madeline, and I just celebrated 17 years of marriage. So
wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Now, we had a vision when we were married, a vision together. We wanted kids. And I was thinking, let's go for 2. My wife was thinking, no, let's do 3. Well, then this happened.
Wow.
Yes. 7, not 50, but 7. Now notice that we're looking at all girls there. Okay. Woo. Thank you. Yeah, the girl squad. That's right, Nicole. I know it's crazy. Now here's our breakdown. Okay. Claire's 15. I mentioned I had a Claire in the chat. Charlotte is 13. Cambry is 11. Elsie's 8. Eva is 6. Emmy's 3. And Haven is 2. Now I'm guessing on some of those. All right. I know I'm not good with names. You know what I'm saying? But people are always like, are you trying for that boy? I'm like, do we look like quitters? And believe it or not, we also thought about adoption. Then we were like, let's just keep them. So we're good people is what I'm saying. Okay. We're good people. But in all seriousness, that picture is more beautiful than anything we ever could have envisioned when we first started. And even if your goals and dreams turn out to be better and richer than you first imagined, greater possibilities start with a vision like all of you are thinking about right now. So let's go to one person now. It sounds like we cannot hear Kim. So since we're having some trouble with her audio, Shannon, could you just pop up on the screen for me really quick? Thank you. So everybody say hello to Shannon.
Hello, Shannon.
Hey.
Shannon, we're going to do something. Now, Shannon, where do you come to us from today?
Nashville.
Nashville. I love Nashville. Nashville's beautiful. And what do you do exactly? What's your specific job description?
I am in human resources, and the branch that I work in is compensation.
All right. So compensation of HR. Very good. All right. I bet you have some interesting stories for us.
Absolutely.
We won't make you tell them. Hey, but question for you. Do you have, did you think of a seemingly impossible goal that you're okay with sharing with the group?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Would you mind just telling us what that goal is?
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, but it's a stretch goal, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so it's to own an apartment in Amalfi.
Own an apartment and what was the second part?
In Amalfi.
Okay, can you explain what that is for the people who aren't sure?
Okay, so in the south of Italy, you have some islands and you have some really great shore places.
Yes.
Amalfi is one of those places, and it's just one of the coolest places in the world you could be.
Okay, I gotcha. What would be the coolest part about owning an apartment? Now, do you mean owning an apartment complex or just owning your own apartment?
Oh, just owning your own apartment, because it's kind of ridiculous there for real estate.
Okay, gotcha. So what would be the greatest part of living in Amalfi? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So you get all the great restaurants, you get the beach, you get to go tour, you get like anywhere that you could possibly want to go, you can be there in 4 hours.
Okay.
Amalfi, and so you can kind of see all of Europe.
Okay. Tanisha said her bag is packed, so you better get a ticket for at least 2. Okay.
She's on the boat.
Sounds like you're going to be taking some people with you. Okay, well, tell you what. Let's just look at a fun way to break down our seemingly impossible goals, shall we?
Absolutely.
We'll do it with the card trick. I've got a deck of cards right here. It's invisible. You can't see it, but I'm going to throw it into the screen, and I'm just going to have you catch it. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, man. I love how you got ready like a second baseman. Here we go.
Got it.
Oh, nice catch. I know, kind of a hard toss. Sorry, I never know how hard to throw it. Okay, mix those cards up, Shannon. Shuffle them around.
Okay.
Okay, time out, Shannon. You got to take them out of the box first, then shuffle. All right. I always do that. I like messing with people.
Okay, now I got it.
Yeah, you work in Vegas, don't you? That was smooth, man. That was smooth. Throw out the jokers, and I don't mean David. I'm talking about hey, David.
No
All right.
cheating. No cheating.
Yeah, Kamika says no cheating. All right, she's watching you closely, Shannon. Shannon, I want you to spread the cards in front of you and just pick one card. But before you pick it, listen carefully. Don't pick anything obvious, okay? And I want to make this clear to everyone watching. I know our helpers' names, and we had a quick debrief before this. But Shannon, we made no pre-arrangements of any of this. Can you just verify that?
Verified.
And Kamika, yes on that? Okay, perfect.
Everything is honest.
Thank you so much. So Shannon, just pull any card up, but don't make it something that I could easily guess. Like a lot of people pick the Ace of Spades because it's so pretty, or the Queen of Hearts because it seems so elegant. So pick something that would be hard to guess in theory.
Okay, got it.
Now, before you put it back in the deck, flip it around so it's facing the wrong way because I want to be able to find it easily. Put it in there upside down, square the cards up, mix them around a little bit so it kind of gets lost. Put them back in the box and throw them as hard as you can at your camera. Whoa, see, you threw it hard enough to where now they actually became visible. That's crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah, but of course, we have to prove that it's the same deck of cards. There's only one way to do that. What card did you flip over?
The 9 of Hearts.
The 9 of Hearts. Now, these cards will not leave the screen, okay? Shannon, I want to show you something. But first, Shannon, you have been called to explore unique possibilities in your life and in your work. And I believe that if you trust that, if you respond to that calling, even if it means moving to Amalfi someday, then you will indeed stand out. And speaking of standing out, Shannon, which card do you think is the only one flipped over?
The one that I flipped over, the 9 of Hearts.
That is exactly right. The 9 of Hearts.
That is crazy.
What?
That is what I'm thinking. That is crazy. All right. Yeah. Let's hear it for Shannon, everybody. He did a beautiful job. Nice work, Shannon. All right. That was a good time. All right. Everybody say bye to Shannon. Shannon, you can go ahead and turn your camera off for now. Nice work. Oh, my goodness. All right. And that's what it's about, right? When we pursue our seemingly impossible goals, we're going to stand out. Our work is going to stand out to our clients and to everybody that we serve. Okay. Now, I mentioned, before we bring David on here in a minute, I mentioned that there was more to the soccer story once I achieved that 11,241 number, and I have not shown you yet, so I'd like to tell you about that now. All right, and I like how people are freaking out in the chat. I love it. I love my job. This is so fun. All right, so after I achieved 11,241 kicks, I kept asking, what else is possible? What's greater than just counting kicks? And I discovered something called soccer freestyle. Panelists, yes or no? Ever heard of soccer freestyle? Chat people?
Yes.
No.
You have heard of that, Shannon, okay? A lot of people saying no. Okay, so soccer freestyle is where you start getting creative with the juggling. Right. So it's not so much about number of kicks anymore as it is how creative, how athletic, how risky can you be? And there's no rules when it comes to, even though it's soccer, you can use your hands. Here's a little sample of soccer freestyle. Wait for it. Okay, you get the idea, right? Now, when you start these new kind of moves, there's a whole lot more picking up the ball, right? Because you're doing things that just seem like, okay, how in the world is this going to happen? Okay, how are we going to achieve these seemingly impossible things? But here's why I'm sharing it with you. I believe that all of us have that next level of greatness that we want to achieve. Something that tests you, something that really pushes you, and something that would be so beautiful if you could actually pull it off.
Oh. Wow.
All right, there it is.
Hey.
Woo! Thank you, everybody. Thank you for the love in the chat. I always appreciate that. That feels good. Thank you. All right. So how, right? I mean, how do you set a goal and then, exceed that goal and then achieve things you didn't even know were possible? Well, the possibility mindset by asking what question? Can you remind me what's the question we always ask?
What else?
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Sai, Carrie. Yes. What else is possible? Exactly. We keep asking the question, what else is possible? But you know what? There's more to it than that. Okay. There's a daily ongoing commitment to greatness to achieve extraordinary things in your life as well. These things apply to your relationships, your hobbies, your work. It helps you whether you've just had your hardest year ever or if you've had your best year. It can help you whether you're starting a brand new system or process. It can help if you're just trying to break through to the next level. It also helps with your seemingly impossible goal. And this is this is the philosophy that was born out of my soccer juggling journey. It's called pick up the ball. Can everyone say pick up the ball?
Pick up the ball.
ball.
Thank you so much. All right. Yes. Thank you, Alyssa. She was the first one in the chat. What do I mean by pick up the ball? Picking up the ball means to take action consistently. Meaningful action consistently, no matter what. And I mean, no matter what. Now, I'm talking about more than just trying something new every day or doing something every day that scares you. I'm talking about committing to people and to a process over time, regardless of any temporary frustration, discomfort, or uncertainty. I'm talking about never giving up, no matter how many times you or the people around you might temporarily drop the ball. Okay, so Smile Brands, check it out. I've told you my record for kicks. What I have not told you yet is how many times I've dropped the ball. You know why I have not told you that? Because I have no idea. I didn't count those, right? I'm guessing somewhere around infinity, give or take. But in my experience, being willing to keep going after you drop the ball, especially when it's hard, like Kamika, especially being willing to stay positive even when things are hard, that's the difference right there between people who continually do extraordinary things and people who don't.
Right.
Because people who pick up the ball are the ones who continually defy limits, like owning an apartment in Malta. Alpha. How's it pronounced, Shannon? Remind me.
Malfi.
Malfi. I was so far off, but you know what I meant. I'll get it right one of these days.
You were right there.
In my European geography. This is what I'm picking up the ball. Okay, now, maybe you've heard this before. And panelists, chat people, help me. Thank you, Jane. Amalfi. It's good to have it written out. Jane's like, this guy needs it written out. I appreciate that, Jane. So when it comes to picking up the ball, maybe you've heard, people say the hardest part is getting started. Have you ever heard that, David? Have you ever heard anyone say the hardest part is just to get started?
Yes.
Yeah. What I think, though, just from my work with teams and groups and companies, is that the harder part is actually to stick with it and sticking together. And the reason I know that is because back at soccer camp, when we first started juggling, everyone picked up the ball initially. They were so excited to get going. Let's do this. But not everybody was so excited to pick up the ball again and again, like weeks, months, years later. But it was the few select number of us who decided to stay engaged with the coach, trust the process, who continue to take our juggling records to new heights. So imagine, okay, wherever you are, whether you're watching this by yourself or with your crew in the waiting room, listen, imagine if you made a commitment right now together to pick up the ball. Not just the next time it's hard, but no matter how hard it ever gets. Imagine how that could transform your life, transform the people that you serve. If you made it a habit, you made it a way of life. Imagine how you could transform everyone around you. Now, there's something you have to embrace if you're going to want to pick up the ball, and this is what it is. Dropping the ball is necessary, and it's unavoidable in your journey to greatness. And that means that vulnerability, humility, imperfection, all come with it. It's like a package deal, okay? But the good news is it does not have to be all or nothing. In fact, you can start small. All right, think back to the soccer journey, right? The first day I got 4 kicks. A month later, I got 15. A year later, I got 50. 5 years of dedicated practice after that, 1,259. Because if you start small, you can end big. But to end big, you do have to pick up the ball. And you know what? It starts with the conviction that dropping the ball is no longer the end of the story. Because here's the awesome truth. Dropping the ball is exactly what gives you the opportunity to pick up the ball and to do it with power and to do it with resilience. Yes, Shantessa, I'm glad you love that too. Start small, end big. I love that. So Smile Brands, what I'm telling you is make that commitment today together to pick up the ball. Now, what I'd like to do is have David. Let's keep this conversation going about picking up the ball. David, could you turn your camera on for us, please? Hi, David.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
Happy to be here.
All right. Where are you coming from today?
Las Vegas.
Vegas. I was just in Vegas. I love Vegas. It's amazing. I was in Vegas for a keynote, but my Claire, my 15-year-old daughter, was like, "Can I come with you?" Because I owe her a birthday trip, so she came and we walked the entire strip one day. No shows. She just wanted to say, "I've walked the strip." So it was a blast, man. It was a blast. And what do you do exactly, David?
Director of Market Operations.
Okay, Director of Market Operations. The longer the title, the more impressive, right?
I know I could barely say it, right?
I think it was just director when you started. You're like, "Hey, look, boss, could we tag some words onto that to make me seem like no?" That's awesome, man. I love that. Okay, so let me ask you this, David. What does picking up the ball? I'm putting you on the spot.
I know.
What does picking up the ball for you look like on a daily basis, and maybe also for your team?
Wow, that's a good question. Just starting off right. Just what we do is hard. So going into it with the right mindset, and we help people every day. So I always say, similar to what you do for a living, that we go on stage every day. At least our teams in the office do. So it's getting prepared and going on stage and being ready for whatever comes at us.
Yeah, I mean, you really are performing every day, right?
Yes.
It's like a stage, it's like a performance. And like, I feel like there's a theme going. You said mindset, like having that positive mindset to build off what Kamika said, right? Just that optimism and picking up everyone around you. That's great, man. It's helping other people pick up the ball. Sometimes the ball's too heavy for us to pick up ourselves, right? It takes the whole team.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why you have a team, right?
Yeah. Absolutely, man. Well, so let me ask you this too, because this has been true in sort of my life and my career. Do you ever feel like as you focus on picking up the ball daily, sometimes it feels chaotic? It just kind of feels like, where is this going? Are we really making any progress? And you kind of wonder where it's going. Have you ever felt that way?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably more often than I'd like to admit.
I think we're in the same boat. We'll tell you what, we're going to do a little demonstration that sort of talks about how sometimes chaos can come to order. Would you go on a little journey with me?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to journey over here to the playing cards. Okay, can you see the cards? Maybe you can't hear me as well, so I'll raise my voice. Can you see the cards here, David?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We're going to go ahead and get these out, and I'm just going to give them a little mix. Okay, there it is. Yes, took a lot of practice doing that. Went to Kansas State University and practiced in the back of the classroom. Drove the teachers crazy, but hey, it paid off because here I am today, right? Okay, we're shuffling the cards. And what I'd like you to do, David, is you are going to, you're going to cut the cards for me. Okay? So here's how we're going to do that. I know you're there, I'm here. So I'm going to go like this with my thumb, and I'm just going to have you say stop where you went to cut the deck, and that's where we're going to cut the deck. Are you ready?
Ready.
Here we go.
Stop.
Okay, right about there in the middle. Okay, we're going to go ahead and complete the cut. This is where you cut. Now, David, I'm going to very fairly and slowly count 10 cards from here. 1, 2, 3. I'm just dealing them one at a time. 3 more, make 6, and then 7, 8, 9, 10. David, so far, so good?
So far, so good.
Awesome. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and take these cards just as they are. I'm going to flip them over. All right, and I'm going to pause for just a minute, okay? Now these cards, this will not leave the screen, so I'm just gonna keep talking. Like we talked about, like this is sort of chaotic, like our life sometimes when we're picking up the ball. Everything feels mixed around, feels jumbled, it feels like where is it going? But sometimes if we just pause, we just take a breath and stand back and look at our life and our situation, sometimes all of that so-called chaos comes to sort of a meaningful order. We've already established this, correct?
Yes.
So let me ask you this. These cards, as random as that was, in this order, does this mean anything specific for you? If you were to look at these numbers just as they are, going from this side over to this side. We're going backwards here. So for me, it's left to right. For you, it's right to left. But if this is just a 0, does this number in that order have significance to you?
No.
No. Watch this. What if I take them like this and you're going to help me mix them? Are you ready?
Yes.
I'm going to deal each card one at a time into this pile. And I want you to either say deal or you're going to say switch. If you say switch, I'll switch it with the next card. And we're going to go through the whole stack. You got it?
Yes.
A deal or switch?
Deal.
Deal.
Switch.
All right.
Deal.
Okay.
Deal. Switch. Switch.
Okay. And then the last one's going to be a deal. There's nothing to switch. Okay, now watch this, David. We've changed the order. You chose how to do that. Now I want you to look from this side to this side so you can read it easily. If that's a 0, does this number in this order have significance to you?
No.
Let me ask you, if it's 702 882 8212. He's starting to laugh. David, what is that number?
Well, it would be my phone number.
That's your phone number. Hold on, time out. You're kidding me, right?
No.
Pretty insane. Okay.
Yes.
Now everybody's freaking out. We know that was fair. Those cards never left the screen. You shuffled them. You cut it. That's incredible. David, that is what I call chaos to order. Let's give it up for David, everybody. Give him some love in the chat. Yeah, what else is possible, Sarah? Thank you. David, you can go ahead and disappear there for now. Oh my goodness, that's incredible. Well, so everybody, here's the thing. That I had a very significant moment of chaos to order in my life a few years ago. And this is what was happening. This was in 2014. And this is where it was at that time. It was feeling very chaotic. Okay, in 2014, I had been a professional magician for 10 years because I started in 2004. So 2014, I'm performing all over the country. I'm also putting out YouTube videos about my magic, featuring my tricks, but without any major traction. And I always was constantly asking, what else is possible? Even though I'm having a lot of fun and I'm really grinding, how can I reach more people? Where is this going? And then one day it felt like all of that question was answered and all that chaos came to order when I got the call from America's Got Talent. Now, can I go ahead and tell you all about the experience? If so, just say yes, panelists. Let me know in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bid a fun farewell to the panelists for now. You can go ahead and mute for just, I'm going to possibly call you all back up in just a little bit. Okay, one more interactive thing. But thank you so much, panelists. Okay, so again, this was back in 2014. And one day, totally out of the blue, America's Got Talent reached out to me and said, Devin, we found some of your videos on YouTube. We love your stuff. So will you come to Hollywood and audition for season 9? And I was like, what? This is incredible. And I was thinking, what if I fail? What on national TV? What if I fail? But then I asked a question. Go to the chat. What question do you think I asked right in that moment? Let's see who's the first one to ask the question. What else is possible? Thank you so much, Brittany Pope. Yes, I said, what else is possible? What if this changes my life? And because of that mentality, I said yes. So AGT flew me out to Hollywood about 6 months after they invited me. They put me up in a sweet hotel. And my second day there, I walked down to the Dolby Theater where they were filming auditions at the time. And I will never forget that day. I'm backstage, sort of like this side over here, and I'm jacked. I'm just so ready. I was like, this is the moment I was born for. And I decided to kind of peek out at the crowd. The Dolby Theater seats 5,000 people, my biggest audience up to that time. And not just that, those 5,000 people were sitting right behind Howard Stern, Heidi Klum, Mel B, and Howie Mandel. And next thing I know, they tap me on the shoulder and say, Devin, you're on. So I walked out onto that ginormous stage, and I still cannot fully describe the moment. I mean, the lights, the cameras, the judges, it was totally, totally surreal. And a couple of things made my performance special. The first thing is I was the first person in the history of America's Got Talent who they allowed on-stage audience participation for, meaning they let me bring random people from the crowd onto the stage. First person ever, pretty cool. Second thing that made it special was I did one of my most difficult tricks, a trick that has a lot of unpredictable elements to it, but if everything goes well, it has a really high payoff. And you know what? I nailed it. I mean, just like, it was one of those, just like, boom, nailed it. All right. And then the third thing that made it special was the audience. They were almost as good as you, Smile Brands, almost. But it was fun having, the energy of 5,000 people was something I had never experienced before. And they were engaged. We were laughing together. At the end, they erupted in applause, and it was hands down to that day, the highest moment of my entire career. So then it gets turned over to the judges, and Mel B said, "So Devin, what exactly do you want from America's Got Talent?" And I so badly wanted to say, "I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want." But I'm so glad I didn't. I didn't want to spice things up too much. Okay, I'm glad you guys like that. All right, but then Mel B kept going. She said, "I was expecting something more spectacular." And I was like, "Wait, huh? What?" But then Heidi said, "I loved it. It was amazing." And I was like, "Thank you, Heidi. Thank you." And then the Howard Stern said to me, "Great trick. I wish I could do that." Then he said, "The only thing I'm not sure about is if that specific trick plays to this big of an audience." And I was like, uh-oh. But then Howie Mandel said, "I have to tell you something. I have friends who do a very similar routine to the one you just did, but you know what? They do it better." And that was it. I got voted off right then. And the highest point of my career became the absolute lowest, just like that. Yeah, and my emotions felt very much like the chat, all these exciting things to, it was a new level. I had never experienced this before. I got sent home. They didn't air my segment on TV. They never put it on YouTube, so don't even bother searching for it. I was so devastated, so disappointed in myself that I wanted to quit magic. The thing I had loved since I was 11 years old. I did. I know, Marcel. I did. I wanted to take all the stuff, all of my tricks, just ball them up, throw into the ocean, and be done with magic forever. Have you ever been there? Have you ever brought your absolute best to a situation? I'm getting a lot of yeses here, but then you got the exact opposite response of what you were hoping for? Or have you ever poured countless hours or years into something only to be massively disappointed? Well, in that moment, I had a choice, right? I could quit, or I could ask, what question? What's the question, everybody? Help me out. What else is possible? Thank you, Amy. You got on that one quick. What else is, you know what? I couldn't. Someone also mentioned picking up the ball. I was thriving on failure my whole life, but in this moment, that ball was so heavy, I couldn't pick it up in that moment. This was a new level of despair. But I have a spoiler alert for you. I did not quit magic. You knew that by now, right? Because you've seen some today. That's right. Pick it up, Cynthia. That's what I'm talking about. Pick it up. Now, how did I keep going? And how can you keep going when you feel like you can't? How can you start hoping for the best and stop expecting the worst, even if things don't turn out the way that you hope they would? And most importantly, how do you stay mentally and emotionally well in the midst of emotional distress? Well, fortunately, this situation was actually a blessing. It taught me something so important that transformed how I was feeling, and it can completely transform you in these same types of moments. It's something that I call the AGT perspective. AGT, of course, as in America's Got Talent. But see, after what happened, those words caused me pain. So I knew I needed to redefine what those letters meant so I could see new possibilities again. And now AGT means this: always give thanks. Crazy simple, insanely powerful, but not always the easiest for us to apply in our hardest moments. But check this out, Smile Brands. I'll get it right. Alfie, Smile Brands. Okay, serious, Devin, be serious. Here's the thing. Maybe you've experienced this. When you are fully immersed in gratitude, something amazing, something magical happens. You begin to feel the relief of accepting what is and stop shouldering the regret of past mistakes. And instead, you start to focus on what's good. And you ask different questions. You ask questions like, what is the greater reason for this outcome? Like, is this blessing me right now somehow? Or maybe it will bless me somehow down the road. See, questions like these can help you take control of your emotions by helping you decide how you're going to look at any situation, no matter how disappointing, even failure. Okay, see, this taught me that failure is not a dead end. It is a fork in the road. And these are opportunities to choose the path of growth over the path of giving up. In other words, you can choose to let failure make you, not break you. You can let it hone you, not own you, carry you, not bury you. But you do have to choose, right? To let failure revitalize you, not paralyze you. Bless you, not depress you, revive you, not deprive you. And most importantly, you can let failure refine you, not define you. So Smile Brands, may the forks be with you. Yeah, that's right. Now, and you can decide right now, you can decide, I'm never going to stop being the kind of person who's thankful for my team, for the people we serve, for everyone around us. And the next time something hard happens, instead of saying, oh, how are we ever going to get through this, right? Ask different questions. Say, what in my life is working? See, there's always something. What else do I have to be grateful for? And ask yourself right now in your life, what is priceless? And what is that for you? Is it your character? Is it your health? Maybe it's your relationships. A lot of times when we're experiencing emotional pain over one thing, we completely overlook the treasure that we already have. And then what happens in these moments is we also start to see lies about ourselves and about our situation that can keep us from greatness. Now, I tell you this because I have a confession to make. The AGT experience is not the first time I ever felt like a failure or felt like giving up. And we don't have time for more of those stories today, but we all have stories like that, where we have felt like failing, we felt like giving up. And see, again, we have the choice in those moments, right? And what I found that all of us are susceptible to illusions that will try to keep us back and keep us from picking up the ball as an individual and as a team. Now, usually I use illusions like I do today, right? To inspire you, to amaze you, to uplift you. But sometimes your mind will use illusions to lie to you, to try to hold you back when you're trying to take things to the next level. But the good news is if you're aware of illusions like these, you can overcome them, because we know that knowing is half the battle. So what I want to do right now is just share one of those illusions with you, the most important one that applies to you. Okay, so this is the illusion you want to watch out for. This illusion can seem so real, so overwhelming that it can really choke your creativity. It's the illusion of insignificance. Yes, that just happened. The dentist loves that trick. He's like, is anything bothering you today? I'm like, just this, right? But the illusion of insignificance, what does that mean? The illusion of insignificance says that since someone else is further along than you, then what you're doing is meaningless. Now, let me give you an example. Okay. At one point in my soccer juggling journey, I remember I was about 19 years old and I had gotten about 2,000 kicks. And then I put the ball down for a while because I kind of got, I got busy with life. I got married, had kids, my life fell apart. That's a joke. And that joke stays here. But anyway, then a few years later, I picked up the ball again. And I wanted to see, like, what have other people achieved? And I went to YouTube and found someone who had achieved 4,000 kicks. Now, at that time, that was double my record, and it bugged me like crazy. It was a girl. That's not why it bugged me, okay? Girls are amazing. Hey, they're all we make. All right. If you're just joining the call, I have 7 daughters. You missed that part. Okay. Okay, here was what was significant about this person. This girl was 8 years old. And I was like, wait, an 8-year-old has doubled my record? What's the point? Should I just give up? But then I thought, well, if she did it, it is possible. And since I wanted to keep progressing with my kicks anyway, I said, okay, kiddo, challenge accepted. It is on. Let's do this, right? And I decided not to believe the lie that her success meant that I could not be successful. And instead of letting it stop me, I let it fuel me. And you know what? That is what accelerated me to get on the path to where I am today. You have to watch out for this illusion, right? Because the illusion of significance, that someone else's success means you can't be successful, is something easy to talk about in theory. But what about when you deal with it today, when you feel like someone is crushing it, and you're scrolling through your phone and people are going on vacations to places that you're just like, I should be there. I should have that apartment in Malfi. I should be this good looking. We get caught up. In fact, I have to be mindful of this even now, and I'll tell you what I mean. Dan said so close. I'll get it one of these days. Mouthy? No, Betsy. I don't think I said mouthy. Anyway, all right. Focus, Devin. Focus. All right. This is where I get caught up in the illusion of insignificance. Every time I give this presentation, somebody inevitably always asks me, Devin, are you in the Guinness Book of World Records? And yes, I am. I read it every day. It's kidding. No, I'm not. I'm not in there. Now, while I joke about it, if I let it, it can discourage me and make me say, what's the point, I mean, I'm proud of the number I've gotten, over 11,000 kicks, which is 2 hours of kicking. But check this out. The world record is over 26 hours of continuous kicking. Who's impressed with me now, huh? I know. It's like Mr. 2-hour boy, right? See, the truth is, no matter what you've achieved or no matter how impressive your accomplishments are, there's almost always going to be someone better than you, further along than you, doing things that you wish you were doing. Which means that this is another awesome opportunity to decide, what does this mean for you? So here we go. Get your chat hands ready. The next time you find yourself saying, that person's better than me, I want you to pause and realize that is an incomplete sentence, okay? You just have to complete the thought. And it sounds like this. That person's better than me at being who they are. Okay, so I'm going to say that person's better than me. I want you to go to the chat and finish it with at being who they are. Here we go. That person's better than me at being who they are. Yeah, wow, people got in there quick. Good job, Alyssa, Stephanie. All right, Mary, nice. Because what if your goal wasn't to be the best, but to be your best? And then what if your best is the best to the people that you are meant to serve? Because if your greatness is not in service to others, Smile Brands, seriously, I know many of you know this, what is the point? If greatness is all about you, it's never going to be good enough. But if it's about serving other people, then you can rise above the illusion of insignificance. And you can do that even when things are not always perfect. And this is true for your seemingly impossible goals, for your day-to-day work, and for all of your relationships. Because I know all of you are all about the relationships with each other, with your clients, with your patients, with your families. And we know that any important or significant relationship, when it comes down to it, perfection is not an option. Would we agree? Perfection, not always an option, hardly ever an option. As a father of 7, I would know. Thank you. Thank you for the yeses in the chat. Thank you, Anna, for the hand clap. Yeah, Kim said never, never an option. Okay, perfection, never an option. Let me give you a fun example of what I mean. Okay, just a quick example. One time, you're ever texting, you have clumsy thumbs, you mess up the message. One time my wife was out of town. I was at home with all the kids. It was going real well. I texted my wife, the kids are missing you, but I cut off the word you. There you go. All right. My wife, she texted me right back. You know what? She texted back, a smiley face and 2 thumbs up. I was like, I think she needs more time away, right? But perfection is not an option. That's just a fun example. And we know that when you let people in close, it can be vulnerable. It can be humbling. Sometimes people say things that hurt your feelings. But here's the thing. Sometimes things go so well that you feel like I'm doing something right. And it gives you the encouragement you need to keep going. And here's an example of that. About 10 years ago, at that time, we had 3 kids. Claire was our oldest. She was 5. And then we had a 3-year-old and an infant. And it was the end of one of those really long days. And I know you have the same kind of days where you come home, you're exhausted. So I'm laying down at the end of this day. And even though I'm so tired, my mind races. I don't know if this happens to you, but my mind, I just can't turn it off sometimes. And even though I'm so tired, I'm thinking things that Anna's like, yeah, I'm thinking things like, how in the world am I going to get up and do all of this again tomorrow? Do you ever feel that way? Or am I even doing enough? Or have I made mistakes as a parent or as a professional that I can't recover from? Well, right then, Claire, 5 years old, walks into the room, snuggles up to me. So I put my arms around her, and out of the blue, she says, "Hey, Daddy, you make me feel safe." See, if we embrace the imperfect moments, then sometimes we get to experience the near perfect ones, oftentimes something greater than we could ever imagine. Well, Smile Branch, this has been so much fun today. I'm just going to wrap it up with one more story. And before I do that, thank you for letting me join you. Thank you for being so much fun in the chat. And let's give our panelists one more big round of applause in the chat and some thank yous for doing such a great job. We appreciate all of you. Mika, Shanna, David, and Kim was there somewhere. All right. So one story to close that, again, just happens to be about my family. Here, if you joined us late, that is my family. Those are my girls. So a few years ago, I was overwhelmed with this sense of gratitude. What had happened is I was in Las Vegas to deliver a keynote presentation. And I was walking the strip. So I've once walked the strip alone also, Shannon. I was walking the strip. I just happened to pass the Link Hotel, which is the hotel where Matt Franco performs. You know, Matt Franco, magician, winner of AGT, season 9. Yeah, that's right. My season, we auditioned just a few people apart. When I saw his name up on that hotel, all of that pain came right back to me. But then because I was away from home, because I'm always thinking about my family, I was overwhelmed. I was overcome with this deep sense of gratitude. And it opened my eyes to something I had never seen before. It was the realization of the perfection of what had happened. And this is what it was. Had things not gone the way they had, we wouldn't have our 3 youngest kids. I'll explain. When I auditioned for AGT, we had 4 kids. We didn't have our youngest 3 yet. And you know as well as I do, if you were to somehow change things in the past, it would change outcomes. When you change anything, it could change where you live, your decisions, your timing. And had things not happened exactly the way they had, we wouldn't have our 3 youngest treasures, Eva, Emmy, and Haven, who, by the way, mean more to me than winning any competition ever could. Okay, if you remember anything from our time today at all, please remember this. Something greater is always possible. So now I invite all of you to never stop asking, what else is possible? Commit to picking up the ball. And no matter what, remember to always give thanks. Because thankfulness will not only help you discover new possibilities, thankfulness will help you remember what you treasure most in life, if you will simply open your eyes to it. All right, thank you all. And you all have been a treasure today. So thank you so much. God bless you all. It was an honor. And Jody, I will turn it back over to you. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Devin. Wow. I'm a little teary. Master magician, soccer freestylist, father of 7 daughters. You are certainly full of surprises. We thank you for the fun, but most of all, we thank you for challenging us with the fact that no matter what challenges we are facing, we can be resilient in every situation and realize that something greater is always possible. Let's hear it one more time for Devin Henderson.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Smile Brands.